Oh, technology. I had my whole fancy start screen and everything and suddenly realised that I hadn't actually started streaming. So yeah, that was clever. So for those of you that have been on Instagram and it's been sat there for almost 2 minutes, I do apologise. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I just have a very quick question. Sorry everybody, technical question. But it will make the live better, I promise. If I do that, I can see the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way of bringing that up here somewhere so I can see it? Sorry guys, technical question. Hello Wendy, how are you? I'm just going to let hubby fiddle for a little second and I will talk to you. So I am going to be using the Dragon Breath stamps, basically because we only have one left in stock. We only have one of these gorgeous little cuties left in stock and I really wanted to have a play, and what I thought I would do is see if we could speed up the colouring process a little bit by combining alcohol markers and pencils together. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on my screen over here, so I'm hoping it's going to work. Right now it's a little bit scary, but what it should mean is for those of you on Instagram, and there's quite a few, hello Belinda and Juniper Jane Crafts. Oh, it's disappeared again. I was just about to say hello to you, but it's disappeared. Technical issues are occurring. Hi Alex. Oh, now I can't see the Facebook and YouTube ones. I still need to be able to see those ones. I don't need to be able to see that. Sorry. Yeah, but if I can see, if I can see that and then see that, that's perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. We are actually finally managing to stream on Instagram, so that is progress. A few technical hitches, but hopefully in a few weeks we'll have it going great guns. So yeah, I was saying hello to Juniper Jane Craft and Kerry Lou and Kala. Is it? Yep. And yeah, you just got to love technology, Wendy. Absolutely. Hi, Lisa. Thank you very much, Sue, for sharing that. Hi, Pauline. So, for those of you, this is really cheeky, but I'm going to ask anyway, if there's any chance that you could share this live on whatever platform you're on, that would be greatly appreciated. It is a fantastic way of being able to support small businesses, is just to be able to share their stuff. It makes all the algorithms and things happy. So if you were able to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. But for now, shall we just get started? So I am going to swirl you around and we will take a little look at my page. So let's do that there. There we go. So, as I said, I am going to be using Dragon's Breath. Let me just improve the lighting quality for you a tiny little bit. He is good. He's got this whole thing set up for me. So the fact that you guys on Instagram can now see me, that has been, it's been a little bit of a labour of love, not going to lie. So I hope you enjoy us being there. We should also be on Facebook and YouTube. So now, hopefully, we are across all the platforms. Hi Lisa. Lisa's just joined us on Instagram as well. So I'm going to create a very quick background and then we're going to stamp directly onto it. This is my Pink Pig journal. And last year I got so close to thinking that I would be able to finish it, which is very exciting. And then I sort of started being distracted by other lovely, gorgeous, crafty things, so we didn't quite get to that. So, only about 4 or 5 pages. This is the Going Round in Circle stencil. It's perfect for creating seams as well. And then I also have, this is the mask from the Country Lane stencil set, and I'm just going to use that as well to build up. Oh, Pauline has this stamp. Tried to share on Instagram. I don't understand Instagram just yet. We are doing well that we're actually live there, but thank you very much for trying, Lisa. I do appreciate that. And the other thing about being live on Instagram is it doesn't stay. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you'll get to sort of watch it on replay, but you don't get that same sort of opportunity with Instagram. But you know, we're doing our best to make it work. Right, so I'm just going to sort of, that's very random and strange. I'm just going to try and create a little bit of a cloudy effect. I'm not going to over egg the pudding or worry about it too much. Hello, Chloe. Lovely to have you with us. So yeah, we're getting something. That just looks very random and strange. I'm hoping by the time we have stamps in the mix as well, it will improve the look of it somewhat. Let's hope so. If it's not right, it's not the end. That's my motto on the thoughts on the matter. You know, if you don't quite like the look of it, don't worry. We're at the starting stage. At the minute, we're just getting colour on the page, which means we can sort of take away the fear of the blank page a little bit. Right, so I'm also going to get my blending mat, and I am going to pop it down here like so, and just grab the edges of this, and then we will do the fun part. So I said I wanted to be more creative with my colouring. I love colouring, and I invested quite a few years ago now in the Kit and Clowder colouring classes, and I love them, and I have learned so much, and it's progressed my colouring more than I can ever express. But if you watched my how to be more creative in 2024 video, we looked at how it's important to learn from different teachers, because we can sort of just get used to the way one person does things, and it maybe stops us from experimenting. And that is kind of what I felt. I love using markers, but I've become I just use my markers, or I just use my watercolours, or I just use pencils. But I am watching the likes of Jess Carp. She's on YouTube, and people like that. Very often when they are creating art, they actually are mixing their mediums quite a lot. So they'll maybe use alcohol markers as a base, or watercolour as a base, and then build up the details with another medium. And so that is what I am wanting to try today. We are just going to block out colour today using the alcohol markers, and then we are going to add detail using the pencils. Now, the reason I've opened my book like this is because, as we've said, this journal's almost complete, and we've got a lot of stuff on this side. That's an unfinished page. And we've got a lot of stuff on this side, so we need to make sure that we've got a nice flat surface for stamping, and so I'm going to get a much better stamped impression by opening up the book like this. So let's get her just stamped there. And then what I would like to do is to have the dragon's breath come over this moon thing. Now, we've kind of lost the brightness of that a little bit, but you know, we'll work it out as we go along. Hello, Sharon. I can't remember if I've said hello or not, so if I've not, I'm sorry for ignoring you. And if I have, hello again. Okay. So what has everybody been up to today? I've had a cleaning sort of day today. I feel like I've cleaned all day and that my house still looks like a mess. Does anyone else do that? Hello, Claire. Lovely to see you. Okay. Claire, I designed these stamps with your daughter and my daughter in mind. There we go, look. Slay. If anyone doesn't know, that is what like all the young ones are saying for everything now. It's like slay. So yeah, as soon as I started drawing dragons, I absolutely needed to have the sentiment. Now I'm going to have to put this over because my acrylic block isn't going to go over those rings. So we'll do something like so. Slay, absolutely clear. It was kind of like as soon as I drew dragons, it was just I absolutely had to have it as a sentiment. Dear. Right, I'm going to add a few extra flamey bits. Just let's have it coming across the page, and then we can see what occurs from there. You've been working on making cards today, Pauline. That sounds like a much nicer day than cleaning. Absolutely, I would have much preferred to be sitting working on cards. Was it successful? Right. can always draw a few extra circles in if we need. I think we're good with that for the minute. So you've been at work doing oh no, that doesn't sound fun at all. I think I would rather be cleaning than doing figures. Me and figures don't get on well. I really actually have to do mine at some point, but we know we'll just keep putting that off for the minute. Now, I do want to, as I said, I know we've done this before. So last time we used this stamp, we created this page here where we stamped on black. So that is currently still available on my YouTube channel. So we used effects to create this. But I really fancied sort of creating a rainbow down the chest area here. So I wanted to like just give that a go. So that's as far as my plan goes. After that, we're just going to be winging it. You made quite a few and didn't make a dent in your stash. Yeah, tell me about it. I once put myself on a 6-month spending ban when it came to craft supplies, many moons ago, thinking that, you know, I would put a massive dent in my craft stash. The only thing I would allow myself to buy was adhesives and things like that. Right, I'm just gonna colour. Let's. You can tell me no. Whoa, words. Sorry, guys. Right. So, is this a better angle for colouring? I will keep it on here for just a second while you let me know, or would you prefer to be overhead? I'll get this down. Yeah. So anyway, I went 6 months without buying myself any craft stash at all, and you would never have known. Because despite 6 months of crafting, not buying anything new, you couldn't see a dent in my stash at all. Oh, you've had the day off sick. Oh, you're having a rough time of it, Alison. You like this angle, Sharon. That's good. Right, we will stick with this. This is the reason I put this camera in, to give us this angle. But I just like to make sure that it works for you guys at home as well. So I'm just going down here in rainbow order, and then we need to decide what colour we are going to make the overall dragon. And then we're going to add detail with our pencils, and pretty much we're going to keep it at that, because sometimes we don't need to make things complicated. You have a folder which is slightly thinner than it was, lol. Absolutely. I once did a video many moons ago, so the quality, so please don't go looking for it because the quality is probably absolutely dreadful. But I once did, as you all know, I have a bit box. I once sat and with my bit box and decided that I wasn't going to leave that crafty session until the bit box was empty, and I did do it. The last couple of cards were just like crazy collage with everything stuck on. It was great. Hi Bridget, lovely to have you with us. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to get a slightly paler pink and just put in some cheek stuff here, and then let's just give this a very rough overall colour. Now I am colouring direct to page, which probably means we're going to get a little bit of leakage over on the other side, so we can just see there that it is coming through. That is alcohol markers. You are never going to avoid that. But we will just have to get really arty and crafty with paints when we get to colouring, or when we get to dealing with that particular page. Right, let's go for, what colour should we have? I'm thinking maybe blue. Blue. Let's get a paler blue. You weren't going to spend, but then you bought a load of pro markers at 70. Well, you can't avoid that, you know. If you get such a crazy bargain like that, it's definitely worth it. How are you getting on with your pro markers? Are you enjoying using them? Right, I'm just going to put an overall blue on this, and as I said, our idea with our colouring today is we are just using our markers to block out colour. We're not going to be adding any of the shades and tones with our markers. We are going to do that with a little bit of pencil work. And that's it. And we're not even going to go overboard with lots of blending. We're just going to use the two different mediums together to help to give us a little bit of a gradient between our shadows and our highlights, because it's our shadow and our highlights that really help any sort of colouring to come to life. It's the depth of colour that we can create. Actually not even sticking in the lines particularly well here, but you know what we can do is we can always add splatters later to make it look all arty. Right, we are getting there. Now I'm getting to the stage where we need to sing, because I'm not sure what to say. The trouble is, when I start colouring, it is the sort of thing that I do and get lost in the world of colouring. So then trying to kind of talk, or remembering that I need to talk, sometimes can prove a little bit challenging. Right, we'll give her a dark blue eye. Okay, and then let's get, maybe put an orangey base down for these flames. I might actually go orange for in the wings as well, because I think I'm going to use the rule of contrasting colours. This particular pen seems to be somewhat dry, so I think I'm going to have to do some refills with that. Let's see if I've got the neighbouring one. It's very relaxing colouring. It is, Wendy. I could just spend ages. It's definitely, out of all the jobs that I have, when I get to sit and have a colouring day, it's lovely. I've got a lot of design work to do this week, so there's going to be a lot of sketching and colouring, so it's always a good week. I also have lots of videos to edit. Has anyone joined in the Crafting Together with All Brands YouTube hop today? It was fun. We had loads of people in it. Please persevere with my video. I don't know what has happened. The sound on the first part of it is absolutely dreadful. It was one of those things, if it hadn't been a hop, I'd have been severely tempted to pull it down, and because the sound bothered me. But once you get past the bit where I'm ripping the cardboard, actually, it's not too bad. Bear with. But yeah, I've watched it all today whilst I was doing my cleaning. Had YouTube on in the background. All the creative people from Crafting Together with All Brands, had them on in the background. Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing, Sharon. I am just putting the base layer down, which will be a lighter one, and then I'm going to try and get depth with pencils. Hi, is it pop up? The trouble is on Instagram, I don't get to see your first names. I get your Instagram handles. So it's coming up as Popo Visiona. Lovely to have you anyway. See, I've gone into quiet mode now. It's like, just quiet. Hi, Rianne, how are you? I am. They were at first, the first alcohol markers you bought, but you weren't confident with blending colours. Use some other brands instead, but now with a bit more experience, I've gone back to them and put some of my favourite blends together. Yeah, I honestly think that one of the best things you can do with any of your craft mediums is to use them and to practice, and sometimes education is more important than new stash. And remember, there was a lady who absolutely loved crafting, and when she sadly passed away, I was asked to help to clear out all her craft stash, and we had a lot of sales and things and raised money for her favourite charity with her craft stash. But one thing that I found really, really sad is as I was going through it, she had every single alcohol marker brand out there. She had Copic, she had Spectrum Noirs, she had Pro markers, she had various types of twin markers. And I can see what happens. You look at someone on TV or YouTube using a certain type of marker and their colouring is amazing. So you think, oh, I need that sort of pen, that will improve things. But actually, there's not a huge amount of difference between brands on pens. You get a difference between the nib. Sorry, you get a difference between the nibs, you get a difference between the shape of the barrel, you get a difference between the amount of ink in it, and you possibly might even get a difference to the quantity of mica and colour. Hi Jude. To what's in, but essentially it's the same thing. It's colour in a alcohol medium in order to put the paper on. So it's like your pencils, it's colour in wax, and your watercolours, it's colour with gum arabic or whatever. So it's essentially the same thing. So the main thing is about learning and practicing, which is why we're experimenting a lot more. You're still trying to get your house done. It's getting on after a year and 4 months, but at least you can craft better now. Hello, Amy, how are you today? So yeah, that is my advice. Just use your stash, keep practicing. Yeah, it's like but none of us ever get it straight away. So let's tackle the main body first, because I'm going to end up with loads of pencils out to do the rainbow breast there. So let's stick with that. So I'm going to do the same as I possibly would with any form of colouring, is that I'm going to have 3 different shades. So I've got a dark and a mid, and to be honest, the marker that we have already will be our light, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But this is going to help us to get our shadows in. So shadow comes underneath. If there's something behind something else, you will have a shadow. So if you're maybe not going to see it from this, yeah, can you see that there where I put my pencil? Now underneath the pencil there, it looks like that there's a massive black line on my hand, and that is the shadow. And that is because the pencil is above my hand. So to make things look really realistic, what we want to do is make sure that there's a shadow underneath. Now that looks like really dark. That's like a really dark brown. You wouldn't think of that as a skin colour. So don't be afraid to put some darks in, because that is really what is going to make things pop. Soon there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. You have pro markers, but you're not keen on the firm nibs, I think. See, I prefer brush markers, Alison, as well. That is why Copics are still my brand of choice, I'm not going to lie. But to be honest, I am colouring more and more with my Yoo-Hoo markers. Partly because my Copics are all on my fabulous wall. My wall of happiness. And quite often when I am colouring designs and stuff, it's something that I can do when I'm up at the house with the family, or it's something that I can do when I'm out and about, and so my Yoo-Hoo markers are in a case. So I can kind of take them with me a little bit more than some of my other brands. So I'm really getting used to them, and actually in some ways I slightly prefer them. I know, can't believe I'm actually saying this. I will be doing a video on this at some point. But there's a lot of prep work that I need to do before I do the video. In some ways I prefer them, because although they have a brush marker, they have a much firmer nib than the Copic marker. So they're not as firm as like your pro markers and things like that with the bullet nibs. They are definitely a brush marker, but they're much firmer. Which actually makes it really good for detail. The thing that drives me insane with Yoo-Hoo markers, and it's the reason that Copics will remain my number one, is their colour coding system is ridiculously awful. It's like, it makes no sense. Some of the colours that you'd think that they'd be in numerical order or something, they don't work. I'm going to get my mid-tone now. And I'm going to go with a sort of medium pressure so that it blends with what we had before, and then I'm going to bring it out to a lighter pressure to meet where the markers are. So yeah, these things drive me absolutely insane, because their their naming thing and their colour coding things, it just doesn't work. Now, because I like colour theory, and hi Doreen. Hi, is it Balden Scrap? Lovely to have you with us. Because I enjoy colour theory and stuff, I've actually quite enjoyed the challenge of making blends work, and that has actually brought me a lot out of my comfort zone when I'm talking about experimenting with colour more and not sticking to the colours that I like all the time. In some respects that's really helped, but for a lot of people that maybe aren't as confident with their colour theory, I think it could be quite daunting, and I think you could quite easily pick out 2 or 3 colours that you think are going to blend together and they don't, which drives me insane. So the reason why this video is going to take forever is that as I have been colouring, I have also been charting my favourite colour combos to create various colours, and I want to put that in a big PDF chart. Once I have that chart ready, I will then go in and we will maybe cover that topic in a video. Also for this particular thing, trying to embrace imperfection. I'm not going to get the completely smooth blend that you would normally get, because we're working with 2 different mediums. You're not going to be able to blend a pencil into a marker. But what I have done just by adding those details is I've given very definite definition and shadow. So although we may be not going to be getting the perfect blend, the overall look is good, and we're just creating a different look. There are more than one way to colour, you know, there's more than one style, and it's good to experiment and try different styles of colouring as well. Pro markers do have brush nibs now. So if you like a pro marker, then yes, they do brush nibs now. I still struggle with the barrel, but I think that's a personal thing. It's a bit like your scissors. I hate one of the most popular brands of scissors on the market. They just don't work for me. But I know everyone else raves about them. And I like my little ones that I had when I was sewing and stuff like that, and they work absolutely perfectly for me, so I'm good with that. So I think it's the same when it comes to your pens as well. If a certain type of pen has a barrel that you find comfortable in your hand, you are much more likely to pull that out and colour with it if you feel comfortable with it. Okay, so we've just added 2 different types of blue there, and I really like the effect that we have got from that. I think that's good. We don't need to, I'm going to work really hard on not overworking this, and then I'm going to bring my absolute highlight in with a white gel pen with a doodle. So I think the blues for that are quite good. So let's see if we can get the same sort of effect down the spine, and then we can maybe concentrate on the wings. Hello Maria, and hello Aniska, how are you? Lovely to have you with us. Right, let's grab, actually my oranges are just here, so we will go for the oranges, seeing as they're the first ones that have come to hand. So again, this is going to, this is going to be my highlight. Hi Rainbow Crafts, this is going to be my highlight. So let's get a dark and a mid-tone for the rest of that, and we can also sort of add that in with our flames as well. Actually, I am going to, let's get rid of that dark orange and let's pull in a brown. Sometimes getting shadow colours for your yellows and your oranges can be a bit tricky, but if you actually just go to brown, it can be one of the most successful ways of getting shadow in there. Okay, so I'm just going to pretty much draw in the brown line. I've got medium pressure because I think I will put a harder pressure in when it comes to the more orangey tones. So this is going to go underneath. It's going to create a little bit of a base, because this is the thing with your pencils, you can really layer them up quite a bit. So this is just really going to help us to get that absolute gorgeous depth. And as we've said, not to be afraid of the dark shadows, because it's actually the dark shadows that will really make a difference to your colouring. So we're going to go over this again with medium pressure. So you can tell I'm medium pressure because I'm slightly further back on my pencil. If I was going for hard, I'd be much down here, but I'm a bit further back. Hello, is it Manual Tester? Lovely to have you. Sorry, I feel really bad on Instagram because it just shows me your Instagram handle names as opposed to your personal names, so I do apologise. But it's still absolutely lovely to have you join us. It's marvellous. Right. So again, medium pressure. And then I think what we'll do is when we come in with our lighter colour, we will sort of increase the pressure and get that to blend out. So I'm sort of blending that all together by having a much firmer pressure on that, and then I will soften out to a lower pressure to kind of get it into the marker area. So I've just got a very light pressure now, and that's just helping. And the reason that I've gone for orange in the wings and the blue for the dragon is they are opposite in the colour wheel, so they're complementary colours, and the orange will make the blue look bluer and the blue will make the orange look oranger, so it's quite a successful colour combo. You do a swatch of all your colouring mediums because they're really, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do a swatch as well. I've got a swatch for all of them, but I still find that the other brands, you can still, although it's not the exact same colour as the colour top, you kind of know that if I pull it, like for example for the Copic, if I pull out an RV6, an RV4 and an RV2, I know that they're going to blend together and make me a pink, but you can't sort of guarantee that the same with Yoo-hoo markers. They seem to be a law unto themselves, but as an actual pen, I think they're great. It's just their colouring system needs a real overhaul. Okay, we're getting there. Right, let's just, I'm going to very gently go over this little rosy cheek here. I'm not going to do too much to that. I'm just literally going to scribble that in because it's quite cute as it is. And as I said, my whole point of this is not to overwork this and make this a 3-hour long project. We're just trying to almost speed up the project just a little bit. So whilst I have the oranges and the blues in hand, I'm just going to add, and I'm almost doing this with line work. I'm not even trying to blend, I'm just getting the pencil on and doing just a little bit of line work to bring that through. Okay, so yeah, we just need the line work for the belly now, I think, and then the flames. It's not too bad at all. Is there a type of paper that you use? Hi, Shabara, how are you? I am currently on a Pink Pig journal. It takes alcohol markers okay. It works really well for your pencils because there is a little bit of a tooth to it. For your pencils, you need a tooth. And also for your watercolours, you need a little bit of a tooth as well. I find watercolour paper for pencils just a little bit, there's too much texture. So like a hot pressed, is it a hot pressed or a cold pressed? I get them mixed up. The smooth watercolour works well. But this is from a Pink Pig journal, or the Dolly Dimples mixed media card works really well for both. But because I'm not trying to blend my alcohol markers today, it doesn't matter that I'm not on a alcohol marker paper. Normally I would go for something like an Express It, something like that. Hi Sandra! I am currently using my Prisma pencils, but we also have put down alcohol markers to start off. So the idea here is I'm trying to speed up my process of colouring because I tend to spend hours and hours colouring, which I enjoy, but sometimes it's good just to learn a few different techniques where we can get a sort of effective look, but just a different way of approaching it. So for here, I've kind of got a bit, for here I'm just using the pencils to add a little bit of line work just to create a little bit of shadow. And I'm trying not to overcomplicate it too much. Right, let's get an aqua in here. And while I have this one in my hand, I'm going to do the same down at the spine. I'm just going to put a nice thick line near the spine and then sort of pull it out slightly with a slightly softer pressure just to get a little bit of shade on it. But it's amazing how you can add depth to a project just by thickening a line. You don't actually have to colour something, so a thicker line is going to make something look like it is more to the front, and as I said, it's going to help with those shadows as well. Because literally all I'm doing there is drawing a thick line. I've not done any blending, but it already sort of, it makes the dragon pop a lot more, especially once we get our white gel pens in here. We're going to notice a big difference. I'm just going to add a little bit of shadowing to that eye as well. And whilst I've got my black pencil, hi thoughtful, sorry Louise, how are you? Lovely to see you. Right, so we have all of this occurring. Like, let's get a little bit more in detail. We'll move this over. Let's get a little bit more detail in here. So what I'm going to do for the flames is I'm just going to sort of draw in the centre with a little bit of red. I'm just going to create shapes within it. And I'm colouring that with full pressure. Realize it looks a little bit strange just now, but bear with. Trust the process. Always be prepared when you are crafting or colouring or doing anything. Thank you, Sandra. This is Dragon's Breath. It was part of my limited edition stamp set. There's literally only one of these left in stock because they were a limited edition, and yeah, once they're gone, they're gone. But yeah, because there's only one left, I was like, I have to have another play with this one. So now I'm going to go over with the orange, but with a much softer blend over that red. And hopefully we should get a sort of multi-tonal flame look. And honestly, this is looking a lot better now already. Just adding the pencil detail over the markers has added a huge amount of depth to it. And then the final trick will just be to add some gel pen work. And we should really help to make it pop now. Let's see if we can get, I think I might need to use my Arteza paint pen. I watched the Sarah Rennie Clark, what was the best white pen, and she had the Arteza one come out on top, and it's never been my favourite. I prefer the Uniball Signal. But I have found that the Uniball Signal does struggle on pencil, and obviously she's mainly a pencil artist, so I think that's why she prefers that one. So we might go for that if I can find one in my pot and see how that works. Okay, there we go. Just realised I've also not added any shadow to the little toes, so let's do that. So, how many of you colour by putting your alcohol markers down and then using pencil? I mean, it's not something I do overly often. I used to years ago actually. It's not something I do overly often, but it's something, as I said, I'm trying to experiment with the way I colour more. But how many of you actually currently sort of do that? I'm also just going to grab my pencil here and just scribble underneath. I'm not worried about gorgeous colouring. I am just popping it down here just so that our gorgeous dragon is actually standing on something. Sometimes. So Lisa does and Alison does. And both of them are got absolutely gorgeous colourists. I think this is why it's important to experiment with different styles of colouring. fill this in so that it makes sense. It's very scribbly from this angle, from the angle that you're seeing it. I'm also just going to, because it's me, I'm just going to add little scribbles because I just think that always makes it look like grass. It entertains me. There's also something really therapeutic about just scribbling on your page. No, but you use gel pens to add detail sometimes. Yeah, gel pens are great, especially the Sakura ones. They're fab. Okay. So I'm just going to add a bit of green in here as well. And yeah, I'm actually going to put some of the scribbles over the dragon because it'd be sat inside it. You're probably sick of seeing me do this. I do it every week. Right. Okay, that for me is so different. Let me just pop you to this angle here. So there, we've really made it pop. But for me, because I'm used to doing a perfect blend, this is just a different, hi Laura, hi Anne. This is just a very different style of colouring for me. Oh, sorry, I've just realised on Instagram I need to be over here a little bit. Thank you. I'm used to working on creating the perfect blend. And as I said, this is why I am trying to push myself to appreciate that there are lots of styles of colouring. And as an artist or a crafter, I think we're all artists, but that's a conversation for another day. If you're a creative person, you're an artist. I think it's good to experiment with different styles because that's how you grow and develop and all the rest of all of that. Have you tried using a white pencil? I have. I've tried that in the past. We could do that if we should we try that. So the trouble is, I have done it. We'll do a little bit. I think I've used a white pencil to blend, and I've also used like baby oil and stuff. And I can do it here, and it is giving the perfect blend. But I am kind of wanting to sort of embrace the fact that I am using two different mediums together. Does that make sense? Oh, it's so cute. Thank you, Sue. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Right, let's see. Do I have said Arteza pen somewhere? I've never got on with these ones. No, the Artistro. So this was the one that came out on top with Sarah Rennie Clark. But it's never really been a favourite of mine. Thank you, Louise. Really appreciate it. Hi, Deb. How are you? Lovely to see you. Right. Because this is a paint pen, it does need a little bit of shiggling. Let's just see how we get on. Let's have a scrap bit of paper. Come on. Sorry. You can all live watch me trying to activate my pen. So interesting. Come on. So this is the thing, I do find it sort of separates and then... Oh, there we go. Right. Let's create some little dots. Sorry. Violently thinking the pen now. Right. Little dots in the cheek. And then, you see, I just find... I don't know. I don't find it particularly opaque, but that maybe could be because I've not shaken it enough. I think if someone could create the perfect white pen that went over everything, that person would be very rich. Because I just feel like the perfect white pen is this elusive thing. Right, what have I got here? Paint marker. Thank you, Heather. This is probably ages old. Sorry, that's not going to be pleasant to listen to, is it? Right, let's get my normal. I'm going to grab a selection of white pens. Let's see what occurs. Hi many crafters are like this, that you literally have masses of white pens to hand constantly and yet none of them ever work? As I said, Uniball Signal, absolute my favourite, but I don't find it works as well on pencil. You need to go over twice with white pen. Yeah, I think you do. I also think with white pen, sometimes you need to leave your work for a full 24 hours before you even try to start putting white pen on it. Now, this is doing something. But yeah, what we might do is we might put this on now and then add more later. This one, right. Posca is finally getting there. Yay! Add a few little details. And the reason this works is because we talked about having a shadow and a mid-tone and a highlight, and like white is your ultimate highlight, so just adding a few little doodles here and there with white makes a huge difference to the overall thing. I'm getting carried away now. Right, what I'm going to do is let's stamp a sentiment out, do a doodly border, and then we can always see if going over this a second time. I end up not doing the white pen because I get fed up with pens. Do you know what? I have to say, this is my favourite one. It goes over markers fine. I did a mixed media project where I had used all sorts. I used texture paste, I used acrylic paint, I'd used like souffle with a glitter thing, and this went over absolutely everything. It worked a dream. So this is still my absolute favourite. I just find that on pencil, I don't know, the waxy texture on pencil just makes using a white pen on it really difficult for some reason. Right, I need to find my little dragon flute. Oh, she's gorgeous too. I need to make one with this one. You like to understand, do you know the only way you can understand what medias work best with each other is by experimenting and seeing what happens. A lot of it's about playing. Right, I'm going to do this one. Slay. Slay and you're a legend. I love the sentiments on these. I mean, I know I came up with them, but I absolutely love them. Right. You're a legend. Hello, it's Alma-D Scrap. Lovely to have you with us. Right, I'm gonna have you're a legend here. You're a legend. Actually, I wish that was a bit higher up, but hey ho. What have we got on here? We might just put loads of, you're on fire. Hot stuff. Oh, they're brilliant. Right. Slay. I'm just going to put slay above this one here. Okay. Hello, Mum. Mum's just joined me on Instagram. How are you? Right, so we're going to put another one up there. Slay. Should we have? I think I'm going to. Now I just kind of want to mess it. Sentiments everywhere. But I also don't want to over egg the pudding. We also have this gorgeous little stamp in the dragon fruit ones. It's this sort of like little hello Joel. I will be finishing soon, I promise. We're going for a walk. So Rebecca, many of you may be aware of Rebecca because she is the interpreter who works with me when we do classes, so that our classes are accessible to the deaf community, which is something that we're very, very proud of here. And we're all going out for a walk after this because Rebecca and I are walking 100 miles this month in order to raise money for the Highland Deaf Children's Society. Right, so we're going to add a border. The reason that adding a border is really important is because it draws your eye in. So it's almost like you're telling the brain to say, look in here. And if you have spent a lot of time doing your artwork and stuff like that, it's good that everybody is looking at what you've actually produced rather than the chaos that surrounds. And it instantly just elevates. You know, I'm very, very tempted to add some details with the little thank you. I'm sorry, whoever just said so pretty. It's turned up as Facebook user. Sometimes this restream thing, it doesn't like to play nice. But thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Now, where have I put my oxides? It's amazing. It's amazing how you can lose stuff as you craft. My mum, who's watching, she'll not find that amazing at all. She'll know that I can lose stuff within 2 seconds. And my craft room probably looks like my bedroom did many years ago. Oh look, I actually put them in the pot that they're supposed to live in. Right. Shall we get an orange as a bit of a contrast? Oh, we've got fossilized amber. Thank you, Shamira. Right. I'm just going to stamp this one with my finger rather than get a block, because it's not a big stamp and we're just adding, oh that's nice. I don't know if that actually shows up on camera at all, but it has just added a bit of gorgeous texture and background and interest. I like it when a project has lots going on and you look at it and you see one thing 1 minute and then the next minute you just see something else, and it makes you want to look at it longer, which is lovely. The other thing that is still bothering me slightly is this sort of sun moon thing. It's kind of, hi paper art, lovely to see you. It's a little bit lost, so let's pull the stencil back in and see if we can fix that using our pencils. So we will get a dark yellow. Right, which one did I use? This one. Let's just see if we can make this stand out. It's sort of, I got quite heavy-handed doing the clouds around it, and it's just, yeah. See, even just that is just, and then if I colour in it slightly, just a very soft pressure, you can see how far back my hand is. So when you're not in person, it's very difficult to describe what the pressure of your pencil is. So the easiest way I can say it is just, if you see how far back my hand is, you can see that the pressure is nice and light. If I was going like this, it would be a much harder pressure. But I'm just trying to distinguish this a little bit more. And it's the same principle that we talked about earlier about shade and tone and how that makes something look a bit more lifelike. So that has helped. Let's see now if we manage to go over. So thank you for the suggestion. Who was it that said that you need to go over the pen twice? Whoever said that, thank you very much. The comments are not in my, I can see the comments, but just the most recent ones. So let's just try going over the white highlights for a second time with our Posca pen and see if we can get them a little bit more opaque so that they pop off the page a lot better. Right. Went off a little bit there. Now I've gone into concentrating mode again, trying to talk and concentrate on colouring. It seems an impossible task. Right. So I think we're almost done, and I'm just going to bring in the last, see, I think that's helped. Right, let's clear the decks a little bit just so we can try and see the finished thing without too much distraction for our eyes. Like too much mess and clutter. I'm not actually tidying it away, I'm just causing a bit of a craft mounter on the corner here, which is going to cause a craft to lunch next time I come in. Right, there we go. So that is that, and it's all done. So we've got a 1-layer page here. We've not done any sticking or any extra, although now as soon as I've said that, I'm thinking that a little bit of souffle on that could be quite nice. Should I add souffle? Anyway, what I was going to say was, the last time we used this stamp, we did this. We coloured on black, and we stamped and embossed, and we used metallic watercolours and our Sakura pens. And with the same stamp, we have created a very different look. And that is what I absolutely love about stamps. You can take it in your own direction, in your own style. They are so versatile. There's so many different uses. So that is the one that we have done today. So thank you very much, everybody. I will be back again next Monday. There was a YouTube hop today. So if you want some inspiration using the Bumble Buzz collection, that is over on YouTube, and I will be about in the group. So yeah, we'll see you there, and yeah, see you next time. Thank you. Bye.